Akeisha Newton, DWS 23 Project Assistant. And next, I would like to introduce Antoinette Miner, Senior Social Media Advisor and Lead Consultant of NCBCP.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now make sure you got that theme music on the next one. Okay? I get an amen. You can get. You have to have theme music. Thank you. On the serious note, well, it is so good. It is such a blessing to be able to be here one more time. So it is my honor, my privilege, my joy to just welcome you all to the 12th annual. I said 12th annual Black Women's Roundtable, Women of Power. So say it with me. Women of Power. Say it again like you mean it. Women of Power National Summit here at the Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center in the DMV. Our theme is not just some words on a piece of paper. Say, it's time to reset, to rejuvenate, and reimagine our power to resist, to act, and to win. And say to win. Every year we come into this summit fighting harder, fighting to maintain our freedoms, fighting to keep and expand our right to vote, fighting the country's ever-growing racism, fighting for economic parity, and fighting just to keep our health and sanity. And then on top of all of that, we made it through COVID-19 as it tries to linger. But I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted from all that fighting. We're going to keep fighting. But it's time for us to take a minute and be okay to step back, breathe. So the reset, the reimagine, all of these words are not just words. It's what we must do to continue the fight. They're coming at us from all angles. But I know I got this script, but y'all know how I am. So I just let Spirit speak. And I don't know about you, but I went to too many funerals. I didn't see too many of my folks struggling with health issues, mental health, physical health, stress. And we have to put these masks on our faces. Not just the physical mask, but the mask that say, oh, girl, I'm fine. I'm all right. And the enemy never sleeps. So they know that some of us are tired and weary. But in a real sense, we're not tired and weary in the sense of the fight. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting. But we're also going to pour in tonight. We're going to take a moment to just say, woosah. And so I got more I'll say later, but the night we're not going to look up and be in here till midnight. So I'm going to ask our sister Acacia Newsom, who's a part of, you never leave the natural code of the Black Women's Roundtable, Black You Go family, you always a part. So she's doing some exciting new career opportunities that she took, but she didn't find it robbery to come back to the power table. So we want to hear from our sister Acacia Newsom.
Thank you, Melanie. And good evening, beautiful people. And happy Women's History Month to us all. I'm Acacia Newsom, BWR Summit Project Assistant. And from the Gaylord to everyone I'm tuning in virtually, I would love to welcome you all to the 12th Annual BWR National Summit. I am so happy to be back in the presence of Black greatness. You all look gorgeous as always. I love seeing you all faces. I have a call to actions for you ladies, here and virtual. Please take out your smartphones. Go to any social media platform that you use the most, and please follow us on, at NCBCP. It's the same tag for each social media platform. So trust me, you all do not want to miss all the surprises that we have in store throughout the weekend. Antoinette will speak more to those. So please welcome her. Thank you.
Hi, sisters. How are you this evening? Good. I'm Antoinette. I'm the lead social media consultant here at NCBCP. And like Acacia said, I have some extra juiciness and the cherry on top of what she just said. So for those of you joining us here and virtually, we have a giveaway going on. So if you post with us throughout the weekend, join the conversation at the power table, tag us at NCBCP, like she said, on all platforms, and use our hashtag BWR Summit 23. BWR Summit 23. We are giving away gift cards this weekend to those of you who engage online. So we want to hear, what does it mean to you to reset? What does it mean to you to reimagine? What does it mean to you to rejuvenate? So throughout the weekend, if you hear something that somebody said that just hit your heart, tell us. Join the conversation, and you might just win a prize. So thank you for joining us online. Thank you for joining us here, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Acacia and Antoinette. The A's. So it's my pleasure to introduce our moderator for the hour, our sister, leader, friend, spiritual warrior, D.C. Marshall. D is the founder of Girlfriends Pray, senior advisor for Black Women's Roundtable Entrepreneurship Top Challenge, and she supports our branding. She also owns her company, Diverse and Engage LLC, and so much more. And so we are just excited to have Dee join us now as our moderator for the hour. Dee.
Good evening. Can I tell y'all what I was doing over there? Real Black girl-ish. I was waiting for my theme music. So we're going to try this again, okay? Everybody, we're just going to bring up our energy because you traveled a long way. And it is not about me at all, but this is about you. And so when we enter the room, because you already know, when y'all walk in the room, there's a theme music playing the moment you walk in the room. Yes or yes, somebody. Yes or yes. Yes or yes, Dr. Barbara Perkins. When you walk in the room, Tanya Tyson. Listen, Sister Helen, when you walk in the room, there's a theme music when you're getting to sit at the table and to negotiate the deals on behalf of our communities. There's a theme music. So we'll try this one more time. So everybody watching live stream, listen, one more time. We're doing some theme music and we're going to bring it up a couple notches. Yes or yes, somebody. And we need some energy in the room before Madam President invites us to bring it down. So one more time. I feel like falling in love. It's all right. Okay, see, I'm sorry. Yes, they would like to. Yes, you traveled a long way. You came a long way. You fought some things just to get here. So just for 1 minute,
Is that all right, Melanie Campbell? Is that okay? For 1 minute, because y'all are all the way in the back. We're gonna need some energy over here. We need some energy all the way in the back. You all are too young. Y'all are too young back here in the back to sit down. You cannot fight a battle sitting down. You first have to learn how to dance. Okay, right here. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not calling nobody out. Okay, right here. If you could stand, if your legs work, we just need you to get up. In the back, if you have accessibility of your legs, thank you, gorgeous. All right, a round of applause for everybody in the room. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome. How many of you needed that? You needed that. You needed just to decompress, and that's all it was about. Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening and good evening. My name is DC Marshall, and it's such an honor to be with all of you amazing, gorgeous, fabulous women. I thank God that He brought you all of this way. And I'm super excited for what's going to happen here. You came empty, but Madam President and everything that she has planned for you, Melanie Campbell, she came full. I'm going to say that one more time. You all, somebody in this room came empty. Somebody came empty. Yes or yes, somebody. Somebody came in empty, and what Melanie Campbell has planned is really to fill you. And so I'm going to share with you this evening how we're going to start and how we're going to finish and what we. Oh, hey, gorgeous. Okay. I love this. Hi. We're so happy you're here. Yes. Whose little one is this? We do this all for her. Oh, yes, there's a little girl. Okay. Well, all right. Were you coming up on stage? No? Okay, because we were here for that. You okay? Okay. All right. Okay. So focus. All right. So as I mentioned, and as Melanie Campbell mentioned, my name is DC Marshall. So I'm going to share with you this evening what to expect on the agenda. So we are going to first have, we're going to all invite you all to stand. We're going to cue the video and the music, and we're going to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. And then we're going to have a moment of silence as we're going to be guided by the video in a moment for so many things, for so many people who are not here, who are with us, so many people going through. And then I'm going to welcome the vice president of NCBC She is the vice president of operation and events management. She's a giant serving alongside the giant. I'm going to invite her to come and actually welcome you. And then we're going to hear from the Honorable, I believe she's here, and if not, she'll be here by the time we get here. The Honorable Angela also works, and I know her team is en route. She is the county executive from Prince George's County. And then we're going to be greeted by a member of the board, and then we're going to move into, we have a few fireside chats, conversations. That's what's going to happen, and a lot more. Say a lot more. All right. Okay. And so I think we pause here, and the folks in the back and the head of production, it is now on you. You are in control of the floor. Pay attention to the videos here. While they're adjusting for the volume, I think it's appropriate for us to stand, and they're working on it in the back. Thank you,
So we're going to ask that you take your seats, and I'm going to hand this over to, I believe, oh, no, I think we have it. What we're going to ask right now is for everyone to hold up your candle. You have a candle? And we're going to try to lower the lights. And what we want to do is we're going to invite you to hold the candle as we pause for a moment of silence. Everybody has a candle? And we're going to pause for a moment of silence. Those of you streaming, we ask that you grab your phone, just put on your flashlight, in a moment of silence for all we've lost in the battle, in your family, in our family. Let us pause. And thank you so much. All right, and so now we're going to move. I'm going to invite everybody take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. And now I want you to give a warm round of applause for Tanya Tyson. She is the Vice President of Operations and Events Management at the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. Round of applause, please. As she
Keep it clean, keep it clean. Good evening, everyone. I once read this quote: surround yourself with women who will mention your name in a room full of opportunities. I am honored to be in a room full of beautiful Black women who would mention my name and each other's name in this room, in every room you can imagine, even in the boardrooms. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tanya Tyson. I'm the Vice President of Operations and Events Management at NCBCP. Thank you. Welcome to the 12th Annual Black Women's Roundtable Women of Power National Summit. Our theme this year was to reset, rejuvenate, reimagine, resist, and act. Okay. Oh, sorry. This month is Women's History Month. Did you hear me? History, and I did pronounce right. We have, as Black women, we make history 365 days a year, not just for March. My county executive, Angela Alsabrook, embodies what this summit is about. Black women leaders who are bold, brilliant, and willing to get in good trouble. I would like you to put your hands together and help me with Angela, bring to the stage, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Angela Alsabrook, thank you.
Good evening, good evening to all of the beautiful ladies in the room. You all look amazing. And speaking of looking amazing, can we give our sister Tanya another round of applause? How we love her, how we love her. She wears it well. She wears it well. I have to tell you, I am so excited and put this back up here to see. Oh boy, look at you all. Do you see that you have packed the room? I don't want that to escape us. And you know what? And that super bad Melanie Campbell did it once again. Give her a round of applause. So proud of that sister. But good evening, everyone, and happy Women's History Month. It is my pleasure to welcome you again to the opening session of the 12th Annual Black Women's Roundtable Women of Power National Summit, and to welcome you once again to Prince George's County, Maryland. We've been waiting for you. I am so honored to serve as this year's honorary chair. And once again, I want to thank my sister Melanie Campbell, who makes us so very, very proud here and across the country. She's president and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and convener of the Black Women's Roundtable for the invitation to be a part of this most amazing event. This is the week you've chosen to reset, rejuvenate, and reimagine our power. And it's an inspiring theme in a month when we celebrate the contributions and accomplishments of women all around the world. It's a theme that inspires feelings of newness and hope for the future. We've seen a lot of accomplishments recently that encourage such optimism. For the first time in Fortune 500 history, more than 10% of Fortune 500 companies are led by women CEOs. And after the last midterm elections, women now account for 153 of 540 voting and non-voting members of Congress. You should know, because of so many in this room, yes, this is a 59% increase from just a decade ago. 27 House members also are Black women. We celebrated the groundbreaking election of Vice President Kamala Harris. Yes, we have. We watched history through the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And let me tell you, our very presence, our mere presence changes the room. I don't know how many of you know, our mere presence changes the room. I had an opportunity to go to the State of the Union address. And you know, they have the justices start walking down the aisle in their robes. So people are kind of just clapping politely. And all of a sudden, the roar went up. And I said, well, now you know who's coming down the aisle next. It's our sister. She changed that whole chamber by her very presence. We know the judges of this administration, the 75% have been women and 47% have been women of color. We have a lot to be proud of, and we have come a very long way. But to be honest, reset, rejuvenate, and reimagine is also a theme that holds within it, especially for us, some frustration. Because the prefix re that begins all three words indicates repetition. It means having to do something over and over to try again, to bolster. It's a reminder that progress doesn't come without resistance. It's an acknowledgement that the accomplishments that we achieved are great, but we have not yet reached the finish line. For all of the increases in elected women, the percentage of women in Congress still remains far below women's percentage of the overall U.S. population. 10% of women working as Fortune 500 CEOs may be a record, but it is still only 53 out of 500. And of those 53, only 2 are Black women. We've made historic gains, yet still fewer than 2% of federal judges in the history of the United States, have been Black women, less than 2%. And we still have not yet seen a woman elected to the highest position in the land. We have not yet accomplished the full mission, and our latest efforts come at a critical time. As economic issues and threats to peace loom across the globe, here at home we face attacks on civil rights, voting rights, and our very own democracy. We're currently arguing over matters we thought had been well settled. We're engaged in battles that were already fought in our history books. It's why Coretta Scott King said so wisely, freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. This fight for freedom is a group project, and everyone should have a hand in preserving our democracy. We should all have stakes in making society welcoming for everyone, but history tells us that we can't just hope that others do their part, especially in a nation whose founding didn't even have us in mind. Reality presents us with a choice: either sit down and accept our society for what it is, or devote ourselves to making it what it should be. And while others may never waver, I believe it's up to us women to act, because the truth of the matter is that it always has been. That's why Coretta Scott King also said, women, if the soul of the nation is to be saved, I believe that you must become its very soul. So as frustrating as the prefix re may sometimes be, from my point of view, it's also inspiring because it asserts a refusal by all of us to give in. It embodies resolve when momentum seems to be going against us. The re symbolizes the women who for generations refused to surrender the nation's soul, carrying the cause through positions of leadership behind the scenes, and especially in the heart of the fight. Women like Sojourner Truth, who dared America to be honest about the burdens of discrimination at the intersection of race and gender. There was a super bad Ida B. Wells who used her talent for investigative journalism to expose racism's ugly reality, saying, the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. Women like Thelma Glass, whose organizing with her fellow members of the Women's Political Council laid the groundwork for the Montgomery bus boycotts years before the arrest of Rosa Parks. So we often hear that story, but we never hear about the women who sat in those classrooms in that school to plan it long before it ever reached the rest of America. They jumped into action because, as Thelma said, we didn't have time to sit still and be scared. The nation's soul needed to be saved. Women like Shirley Chisholm, a teacher turned historic presidential candidate, who declared her candidacy in the church, a Baptist church, and she was unbought and unbossed in her determination to make America's promise meaningful to everyone. Women like Prince George's County's own Gwendolyn Britt, who was elected to the Maryland State Senate in 2002, where she worked to improve life for all Marylanders. And years before, she joined the Freedom Rides in Mississippi, working to register people to vote. She suffered through jail and threats of violence because she believed every person's right to vote is his or her badge of citizenship. And without it, all other rights are in jeopardy. Women like our own Melanie Campbell, whose leadership immediately activism is proof that coalition building and mobilizing gets things done even in the face of obstruction. And yes, women like all of you here for this year's summit, eager to make this society better for the next generation, because the integrity and strength we admire in those giants in history is the same energy that's driving all of you here today. You are the evolution of those pioneers that refuse to surrender to cynicism and circumstance. You are the generation working to win freedom like those gone before. All of this work has led us to a point where power is undeniable. In particular, Black women have shown up to the polls at higher rates than other blocs for the past 5 presidential cycles. Black women. This power has resulted in higher electoral representation than ever. As people take our power into account, moving forward will take some adjusting of our strategy. And we will face significant resistance, know this. But like the generations before, surrendering this nation's soul, I offer to you, is simply not an option. We have work to do to elect more women that understand the essence of saving this nation's soul, while opposition works to suppress access to the ballot. We have work to do to choose representation with the discernment to make wise decisions on kitchen table issues, despite experiencing a persistent racial wealth gap and the reality of earning only 82 cents per dollar to every dollar made by a man. Our work should amplify voices with the compassion to understand the urgency of fighting for others and their futures, even in the face of obstructionists that keep trying to roll back the rights of women. We must use our righteous passion to spark change when violence devastates our neighborhoods, while countering those who wish to lay blame for all of society's ill at the doorsteps of our communities. It is an ongoing fight because the opposition to progress never stops. Being the soul of a nation eternally wrestling with its ideals and who it wants to be is demanding. Every now and then, we just need an opportunity to reset, rejuvenate, and reimagine our power. Because the reset is what gets us ready for this next step. And so I thank you for choosing Prince George's County as your oasis. I'm already energized by your presence. It's impossible to walk into a room like this and not feel it the moment you walk through the door. The power is in this room. And so I can't wait to see what a rejuvenated summit of powerful bad women has in store for this nation and for the world. Please enjoy all the activities and sessions that we have planned just for you. And once again, welcome, welcome, welcome to Prince George's County, the crown jewel of Maryland. God bless you. Thank you.
Good evening. I just asked, where's my music? Listen, I'm from Prince George's County. Yeah, we got some strong Black sisters from Prince George's County. Also, been telling you, we made history. I know I'm getting off script, but sometimes somebody else got to lift up another sister when the opportunity comes. So, thank you, Kelly and Zach. Also, Brooke, and I always tell people this is Prince George's County. So, but anyway, I still put my music with that. That's okay. Good evening. It's a time. I'm Diane Babineau, the co-chair, National Coalition of Black Civil Participation. I want to thank you to each and every one on you being here this evening. We are extremely grateful and recognize our distinguished guests, politicians, speakers, educators. All of us are in here are educators. You just remember that. Another quest. We are pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us from the very beginning. We want to thank you for always supporting us and all the folks that this is their first time coming here. Can I just ask this real quick? Who is your first time coming here? Even raise your hand or whatever. Thank you. Melanie and the staff, what does that say? Volumes of what our work has done. Enjoy your workshop, the speakers, and when you return home, what action plans will you put in place? Recite what our theme is. Don't forget it. When you're sitting there thinking of what to do, remember what the folks did down in Georgia. Let's do it again. So to all of you, thank you for being here. We want to welcome, and our county exec, all our politicians from Prince George's County want to welcome you. And also some of the young people, Google us. You will find that we have a stream-long history of proud Afro-American, especially women in Prince George's County. We did it. Thank you. Okay, play me some music or something.
Hey, yo, 1, 2, 3. Get up, we got victory. Hey, no weapon they throw at me. You know they won't prosper. Now,
Since she asked for the music, now go ahead, do something. Go ahead, because she wanted this music. Can y'all give her some energy? Because she is on the board of directors for National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. Did you see her? She was mad at me. She was mad at me. I'm not responsible for the music. Dora Muhammad, if you could approach the stage, she was mad at me. Did y'all say I wasn't responsible for the music? So now, to the amazing, wonderful production company, I'm going to look to you to make sure when these bosses and generals and leaders come to the stage, what you would want to do for Black women is make sure, because we love y'all like nobody's been, you okay, you DJ, what is his name? What's his name? Pass it up.
DJ Divine, ladies and gentlemen.
What is
We're good now.
All
Let's
right.
go. Y'all ready?
Okay, because the next two coming up, we don't want no problems. I'm gonna let you know. All right. And so now we are, so thank you so much, Diane Babineau, who is a member of the board of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. And we thank you so much to the Honorable Angela also Brooks as well. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to bring to the stage two individuals for sponsor remarks. They will be brief, and then we're going to move on with the program. So the first, we're going to bring up to the stage the Sheena Mead, CEO of Clean Slate. Yes, give it up for Sheena Mead. Yes.
Hey, batter from the bottom, now we what? Batter from the bottom and the hook. Are you playing the clean version? Okay.
You still got to work with the DJ. Okay, let's DJ bring it back. Come on now. I'm a BYB alumni. We're not Black people at all right, y'all heard some of our seasoned sisters in here. Started from the bottom now, right? Started from the bottom now, the whole please. Hey! I want to welcome everybody, and I'm just so honored to be here at the Women of Power National Summit, the 12th annual National Power Summit. And take this mic off, sorry. My name is Sheena Mead. I'm the CEO of Clean Slate Initiative. But I'm so honored to be here because I started in this room over 20 years ago as a Black youth alumni. Oh, okay, y'all not clapping. Y'all didn't hear me. The people in the back. It ain't about me, y'all. It's about us. Because once she do it, can she do it? Okay, because again, I started over 20 years as a Black youth alumni. I see a lot of my mentors in the room. I want to give honor to Miss Melanie Campbell. Y'all give it up for Miss Melanie. Give it up for Tanya Tyson and my convener, Solange Benton. And let me tell you, being able to go through Black Youth Vote and come today as a sponsor, some of y'all who don't know that me, I'm dropping coins and the people who dropped and invested in me. Hello. Oh, y'all ain't hear me. So I got a word, because I know I'm on the panel later, but I got a word for the sponsors who ever thought or doubted or try to think twice about what does my money go to. You looking at it, okay? The money goes to investing into young Black women and girls.
and showing them who they can be and where it's possible. That she can do it and will she do it and girl, we doing it together. So with that, I look forward to seeing y'all. I'm just going to quickly just tell you the Clean Slate Initiative is happy to sponsor this event because I know how important it is for us to invest in Black women and Black girls and also realize that they are part of the population that is 70 to 100 million people who have an arrest or non-conviction on their record. 70 to 100 million, and most of them look like us and a lot of our young girls and women are getting caught up in that system. And so I've been clearing records across the country, have already had 10 states that have enacted the clean slate laws to automatically clear records, helping millions of people. And I'm excited, okay, and I'm excited to be here so I can talk to y'all about that. With that, I'm going to put the mic down. But remember, ladies, started from the bottom now here. Started from the bottom now, the whole thing is here.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team. She's just a girl and she's on fire.
I like it. You can see it. Yeah. Thank you, good evening. Such a joy to see all of my beautiful sisters here tonight. I want to first uplift this vital work of the Black Women's Roundtable and the incredible vision of Melanie Campbell. Yes. I'm very humbled and privileged to represent Planned Parenthood this evening and our commitment to partner and support your work. Now you have created an unmatched space for Black women. We know it, the executive said it, when Black women come together, when we unite, we change things. Our lives embody a phenomenal strength that has resisted the intersection of racism, sexism, and classism. Our power is evidence-based. Every social justice movement that we join, we transform. Our bodies hold the fight. We see the fight. We actually are the fight. And in this critical hour of this current relentless attacks on freedoms and access to sexual and reproductive health, at the core of it is the fight to control our bodies and the care for our communities. That's why none of us in this room know we will stop fighting. I'm very humbled as to serve as the Associate Director for Faith Engagement and Planned Parenthood. It's a new position created in this unprecedented moment of attacks on our freedoms and our rights. And my position was created to meet the moment. Because we have to reclaim the faith narrative in our fights. What does that mean? We have to activate our faith, the faith lens, the faith language, our faith power to resist and demand justice in whatever venue this fight enters, whether it's the halls of Congress or our state legislators, whether it's through our congregations and our denominations across college campuses, in our corporations, at the corporate desk, or in our communities. This fight is for our lives. And so I'm very grateful for the vision for tonight, for this whole week. Grateful for Tanya and her team that's working behind the scenes that gets very little glory. But I know they've been working hard to make this conference a success. So treat them with grace, treat them with love, honor and respect them when you engage with them throughout the week. Lastly, I want to lift up a little plug for our executive vice president, a senior vice president, you will hear from Friday morning in one of the power talks. Also, we have a swag table, pick up some free stuff at our table in the expo. But I am really looking forward to attending the sessions, from learning together with you all, sharing the sisterhood, and then on Sunday, leaving here with you all more powerful than we came tonight.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful for the sponsors who allow this to happen. Because how many of you know that whatever you paid here to be in this room was not enough? Say yes or yes, somebody. I'm sorry, but how many of you know that whatever? Thank you, my sister. Whatever you paid to be here, it was not enough to cover the cost. And the organization is a not-for-profit, and so if it were not for sponsors, say sponsors, then this would not be possible. So we're so grateful for all of the sponsors and for all of you who purchased a ticket. You purchased several tickets because you were able. You didn't ask for freebies. You're not going to complain about. Look at this beautiful room. Look at this, and look at this beautiful venue. And so again, I just want to say thank you to the sponsors. And if you are online, there are. I believe, I don't know that we have a count just yet in terms of how many people are online, but they are able to plug in here virtually at no cost. Say amen, yes or yes, somebody. All right. And so now we're going to move in, and I'm going to look to um, we are going to welcome I think our next individual who's going to share remarks, Becky Pringle, who is the president of the National Education Association. Oh, yep, she is here. I see her, gorgeous. She is sitting. Nobody is queued up until this music. And so, DJ, now I'm going to say her name again, and she's going to take the long way around. You're going to take the long way around. We're going to give you a little bit of time, okay? Yes, the energy in this room. Come on, somebody. Because if your title is president, come on, president of the National Education Association. Maybe she got these pearls on and she got her shoes and she needs some nylons. Why am I sounding like you? You're welcome. Oh my goodness. Can I just look at you a minute? Oh, just standing in your presence makes me feel so powerful. Thank you all for being here. I am so proud to be here today representing the 3 million members of this nation's largest labor union, the National Education Association. Our members across this country and around the world, we represent the educators who teach our servicemen and women's children. So we have members all over the world who touch the lives of the 50 million students in our public schools. I, of course, must start by celebrating my sister, Melanie Campbell. I know that those who have spoken before me have already said what most of you in this room know, though that was a lot of hands that went up saying they were new. This is their first time. So if you have not had the opportunity yet to meet Miss Melanie Campbell, please make sure this weekend that you do, because this is one phenomenal woman who leads with courage and vision and wisdom and power. And what is so significant about her leadership, for those of you who are new, and especially our young folk, is that Mel always reaches out, right? She reaches behind. She brings us all along with her. Yes. Give it up for Miss Melanie Campbell. Yes. And Mrs. County Executive Angela, she's a little shy. I have to say that I travel around in circles with her quite a bit, right? And every time I see her, I'm just so proud to be in her presence. But I need to just say this: without this woman, we would not be able to say that we elected the first Black governor of the state of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore. Yeah, behind everybody's a Black woman, right? Thank you, Angela, for all of the work that you do for the folks here in PG County, but lifting us up across the state and across this nation. Indeed, this moment in our nation's history is filled with challenge. I don't need to tell you. For those of us who are educators across the country, we see those who are inciting culture wars and banning books. Did you know that Hair Love was on the banned book list? Did you know that? Yeah. Banning books and punishing teachers, discriminating against already marginalized youth. To those who don't believe our young people have the right to thrive or even survive. For those who refuse to make gun safety a priority. To those who continue to do all they can to dismantle our entire democracy. The list of all that we face is both exhaustive and can sometimes be exhausting. But as an educator with more than 3 decades of experience, this is what I know. Hope and opportunity exist at the very core of every challenge, everyone. And as we convene this really important and significant town hall this weekend, we must and we will remain tethered together by hope as we reset and we rejuvenate and we imagine, we resist, and we continue to act. We only have to look back to this last November when our hope and action stopped an expected conservative MAGA wave. We stopped them in their tracks, didn't we? Yes, we did. And we elected allies up and down the ballot. So much winning across this country. Yes, you believed in the plausibility of the possible, and then you made it so. When asked about hope, Reverend Bernice King responds with this: hope and justice are connected. Hope is not naivete, but it is an understanding of where we are and a vision of where we can be. And when we together assert our power to correct every system, every ideology, and every condition that stands against love. When we do that, then we are doing justice. Doing justice, a verb. We are doing justice. Hope must compel us to demand that this country address the reality that the leading cause of death among our 10 to 24-year-old youngsters is suicide. That the income gap continues to grow and the compounding inequities throughout every single social system are disproportionately impacting Black Americans and forcing them to make everyday decisions about whether they will pay their bills or feed their families. Hope must compel us to continue standing fearlessly against hateful and spiteful and dangerous governors like the one to the south,
who, like too many others, are focused on destroying our nation's public schools. Hope must and it will continue to fuel our fight against politicians and pundits who are using their positions and their platforms to spew hate and lies and exclusion. We in this room, though, we are doing justice when we stand against those money-grubbing fascists seeking to limit our students' ability to develop those critical thinking skills and collaborative problem-solving abilities that will save this country. And you and I know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. They're doing it all in an effort to cripple our democracy and gain unfettered power. But here we are. Here we are. We're doing justice. When we listen to students like the ones I met in Florida, Elijah and Juliet and Victoria, their answer to the question, how does this ban on AP African American Studies impact you as students? Their answer was cogent and eloquent and passionate. And it reminded me of how amazing our students are. As two Black students and one white student described the loss of the opportunity to learn about themselves and each other, I knew they reflected the best of America. Yeah, our beautiful diversity, our unwavering determination, our constant striving to be better. These brilliant students know the importance of the right to see themselves mirrored back in the books they read and be a window so other students can see each other. So women of power, we will fight for our students' right to learn and our educators' right to teach. That's what we will do together. We have within our hearts a legacy passed down to us by Black women for over 400 years, who have stood in their power and demanded this nation's dignity and respect. That old Negro spiritual, all right, captures perfectly our resolve. I don't feel no ways tired. Yeah, I come too far from where I started from. So women of power, we must and we will meet the challenges of this moment as legions of Black women before us have met every moment together, rooted in our resilience, shored up by our strength, destined by our determination. We will dare to be brave. We will dare to be brilliant. We will dare to be bad, and we will dare to be bold. Women of power, we will dare to be powerful and do justice everywhere, everywhere across this nation. We will do justice and we won't get no ways tired because our babies are depending on us. They're depending on us to be worthy of them. All you women of power, thank you for all you do every day for our students and for each other, for this country and for this world. Let's go be our best selves.
Wow. And then there's that. Another round of applause for the Becky Pringle. All right. And so we're going to move into the sister power circle. I'm going to invite national partners and friends to the stage now for a brief conversation. This is where we move into reset. And so if you could begin to make your way up, Cleola Brown and the Honorable Vivian is here from Noble, Gwen McKinney, Dr. Robert Perkins, and Dr. Rowe. I didn't see Dr. Rowe. If you can begin to make your way to the stage. And as they are coming, you're going to move to the far left, my far left. And so why don't you again give them a round of applause. We have Cleola Brown, president of A. Philip Randolph Institute. Move on down to the far left. And then we have Gwen McKinney. Just move all the way down. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Gwen McKinney, Dr. Barbara Perkins, and Dr. Rowe. Oh, Dr. Rowe. Oh, my goodness. Dr. Rowe should do this. I want this. Oh, my goodness. Just. All right. Okay. Awesome. All right, as we get settled here, yes, if you could move in the center, just you ladies, so if you move into the center, if you come on over one or two seats, and we have one individual who is going to join us by live stream, so bear with us as we begin this conversation. One individual is going to join us by live stream. All right. And so I am going to just give a little bit of, I want to just kind of level set now as we move into day one and what the content will be about.
Welcome to the Black Women's Roundtable, 11th Annual Women of Power National. We never have and we never will be afraid. Welcome to the Black Women's Roundtable, 11th Annual Women of Power National Summit.
We never have and we never will be afraid to use our voice to speak up for what's right.
That our feet were made to walk in high places. I almost feel like after we heard that, I can close the book and walk on out of here, right? Because we've already gotten our instructions.
Together, I know we can address the world's challenges head on, and we can lift up Black women and girls around the globe and around this table.
So thank you, each and every one of you, for all you do to help us win the fight for a better future.
When our lives are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back.
Apologize for my back. We have one individual who's streaming. And so while we're waiting for her, let me just level set. This panel and this discussion for day one, say day one. Day one of the summit is really about resetting. And this is going to be a bit of a shift from the high energy that we started with and the high energy that we typically stay with. We're going to bring it down and bring it in, to focus on and really to reflect on just some serious things. And so this panel is about resetting and reflecting. And the resetting and reflecting, what we mean is all of us are either going through a battle, say yes or yes. You've been through a battle, say yes or yes. You're coming out of a battle, yes or yes. Or you've been victorious, meaning you have whipped this battle down, yes or yes. And so that is what we want to talk about with this esteemed panel. We want to talk about really three things about battle. We want to know where you are in the battle, whether you are in it, you've come out of it, or you have whipped this battle down, whatever the battle is. So, where you are, um, how you are doing. And then, third, the one thing that got you through that you want to share with the sister in the room who was assigned to you in your battle. Is that fair? And here's why. So, Madam President was really super focused this year and about so many transitions, so many losses. In fact, the person who was going to stream in, and I'm going to try to say this without being emotional, she wanted to be here. She insisted. So when we get her, when she comes in, hey, gorgeous. Hey, gorgeous. Can you hear us? You are such a warrior. Everybody, that is Lisa Fager. She is in a battle right now. And a round of applause for women in the battle who will still show up. I wish I could be there. You are here. You are here. And so that's what this panel is about. Do you see now? So before we can sit at the power table, before we can get to Capitol Hill, before we can protest, before we can march, and before we can do whatever it is that we do, before we can serve everyone else, we have to take care of ourselves. And so tonight, and this panel is really about taking care of ourselves, talking about this battle and how we're going through. And so I want to start to my far left, and I want to have you introduce yourself and then talk about, in brief, we're going to ask you, Dr. Barbara Perkins, to, well, you know what? I think we have to go to Lisa first. I think we need to go to Lisa. Okay, so we're going to go to Lisa first. And Lisa, whatever you want to share about being in the battle, how you're doing, and anything you want to share with the room. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm in the trenches. I'm 6 weeks into chemotherapy. It's not what I thought my 2023 was going to be. Am I echoing in there? I can just.
No, you sound good. You're just sitting right here. Lisa's right here. We can hear you well.
Oh, awesome. So, I'm in this battle. It's not what I thought 2023 was going to be. I'm self-breast exams are a must, ladies. I live out loud, so I just finished my 13 years as an MC for the HIV stigma conference, and so I decided to let my diagnosis kind of live it out loud and let everybody know what I'm learning about triple negative breast cancer. I literally had an exam with my gynecologist in October. There was no lump. 2 weeks later, there was a lump. And, you got to act on it. You can't wait. Because by the time, everything, by December, there was nothing there in October. By December, it was 4 centimeters. So here I am. I got a 15-year-old son, and he's, when I'm living for him. And I want to say thank you to all my BWR stars who have been there, who have called me, sent me books, love, encouragement, cards, flowers, edibles. I mean, just everything's awesome. So, people have really showed up.
And, you always wonder, being a single Black woman, like, who's going to take care of you? Ain't got no man. It's our sisters. Trust me, I've learned so much about sisterhood in this journey, and that started on January 6th. So thank you all.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Dr. Barbara Perkins, I'm going to have you jump in there. We're so grateful for Lisa being here today. She was here last year. Glad she was able to share her battle story and encourage us all to check our girls, check our boobies. But Barbara Perkins knows all too well. So why don't you jump in here?
So first, thank you. It is Melanie Campbell. Thank you for being who you are. 16 years ago, you came into my life, day one, as a friend, and here we are, sisters. January 2017, I was at the top of my game, so to speak. And I got that diagnosis, triple negative, stage 3. No one in my family that I knew had that. And I paused. So I'm not going to apologize, but I am a sister of faith. I believe in a God who is able to do things that I can't even imagine. So on the first day, I called a best friend, 3 of them actually, and said, I'm going to need y'all to come and take care of my household, get my husband off the floor first. Because I couldn't even cry. He was so tore up, afraid to lose his partner of 35 years. We're now 38 years in. What I can tell you right off the bat is I don't look like what I went through. Lisa, that was a rough ride. But I knew that the ride would end. Because if you know anything about supply and demand, you know that if the supplier is strong, come on now, if the supplier has what you need, then you could make the demand. So I said, Father, I got 2 babies and a husband who needs me. Father, I'm doing your work. And I feel there's more to do. So Father, what should I do? And he said, get still. I just need your attention. And that's what I ran with. 8 months later, I was working for FEMA, doing something in Houston and doing something. Couldn't raise my arm, double mastectomy. I was the fattest cancer patient my doctor ever had. Because I said to my sister, now look at here, I don't want to look like that. And then 2.5 years later, 3 years later, COVID-19. Jesus. Right when the thing looked like it was just gonna be smooth sailing from here, COVID-19 came with a vengeance. Everybody in the house. Well, Barbara had an immune system that couldn't handle it. Just hours away from a ventilator. I called a sister. You always got a lifeline with a sister. I called Iyanla Van Zant. I'm going to say her name. As long as I live, I'm going to say her name. I said, I can breathe. And she said, I'm going to breathe for you. Just listen. And I believed she was breathing for me. And before I knew it, I could feel my breath. Thank you. So what I want to say, I promise you I'm going to wrap. But what I want to say to you, because that's my story, that doesn't have to be your story. Everybody in here is going through something. It may not be cancer. It may not be COVID-19. It may just be that you are tired. You just might be tired. Go inside, close the door, and get still.
That's good. That is so good. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to ask is just keep on going down the road, and yep, if you can keep on coming. And Melanie is asking if you could share your share out in 2 or 3 minutes where you are in the battle and what you have to say to a sister in the room about survival.
Okay, 2 or 3 minutes is a short period of time, but I'm going to try and make it work, okay? First of all, good evening, everybody. Good evening, sisters. How are you? When asked that question, it should be answered with a loud voice because you're here. Okay? You're here. And I don't know how many of you know, probably not a lot because I'm a quiet inside person. When tragedy hit, and many Black women do this, we roll up and get at it instead of reaching out to get some help because we want to be proud and strong that way. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was like, oh no, devil, you a lie. And thought that I could really just do that quietly and handle it, take care of it myself. Well, it was a lie, but he was lying, but so was I. Everyone sitting in this room has a story. And a lot of folks think they know your journey, but they don't. Everybody that's smiling is not happy. Everyone that says, oh, I'm fine, you ain't fine and you know it. You just don't want anybody else to know your business because basically that's how we were raised. Keep your business to yourself or at least in the house. When I lie, stop me, okay? But I will tell you this. I've got good prayer warriors all among many of you out there. And I know that I'm not the closest one to God because he made me know how I am. I'm going to cuss a little bit. I'm going to drink when I want to. I'm going to have a real good time. All of that, all right? And I did not make any false promises once I was diagnosed with cancer. I was trying to figure out, okay, now, how we going to work this out? Because I ain't ready to go nowhere yet. But then sisters started, like you were describing, Barbara, started rolling in. And several sisters that are sitting here as well as on the screen, those were the lifelines that kept us going. And to be able to talk open and frank, I'm looking over there at the table, I see Carol Jordan, she came and brought me some homemade soup when I couldn't cook. Don't do much of that right now either, but had an excuse during that time. But I say that to say to you, there's a discovery of who you are when you are challenged with something that you really know that you can't handle by yourself. It's going to take him, and it's going to take a lot of y'all to be there for one another. All of the crazy candid stuff that goes on, the jealousy and all the rest of that, put that stuff under the table somewhere. Better yet, put it in a box and mail it out to the devil. Let him have his stuff right on back. That's what I'm talking about. It's difficult enough to be strong within yourself, but it's even more difficult when you admit to a weakness that you didn't even know you had. Because most of you think you can strap that cape on in the morning like you've been doing all your life, fly across any adversity and still come up stronger than ever. But when it hits you, allow yourself to be a receiver of the care and the love that's out there for you. Remember the times that you met someone and picked up the phone and called them. I remember meeting you. We were at the mayor's inaugural ball, and I was so starstruck with Sister Austinbrook. I sat there, we went through a whole dinner. I didn't say 3 words. Because I'm from the country, y'all. I'm not fancy, didn't come up with a whole bunch of stuff. But I knew I was sitting with a rock star. I was like, go ahead, Clay, just sit right there. Okay? The other person that I also remember meeting was Becky Pringle. when she ascended to the role that she's in now. On an airplane, minding her business, getting ready to come on the plane. I'm sitting on the aisle seat. She comes, I was like, Becky Pringle, real country. She turned around, looked at me, and she knew my name, would stun the heck out of me. All right. But it's that kind of realization that you are not only who you think you are who you share with. I'm looking at a sister like P.D. Talley and like Jan Temple and Diane Babin. I could go around this room and name the names. The love that you get back really supersedes anything that you've given out if you open up yourself to it. What my big realization? I didn't know I had such a big old fat stomach until they took my tits away, okay? I looked down, I was like, what is that, right? What is that, and where the heck did it come from? You know? Oh God, a real live streaming, I forgot. Oh Lord.
I love it here. I love it here. Do you love it here? Yes, this is what Black women do. We gotta tell the truth.
As this is the last thing I'm going to say to a number of you. As I sat going through the litany of the illness, okay? The illness was at the tail end. The first part was the COVID. The second part was I had my mother who was going through first and second stages of Alzheimer's. Now, this was my warrior queen. And she was determined. She said, well, I'm going to be here till 90, but I'm tired. I'm leaving you. I was like, you can't go nowhere. She said, you ain't got nothing to do with this. All right. And then my own. And the realization that you need each other, even in the worst times, not just the best times, so they can pat you on your back or hug you or do whatever. Because that one right there, Melanie showed up at my house. She came with an orchid. She came with some food. She came with, but most of all, she came. And that's what it is that I want to say to you all. You don't have to be a superwoman. You just have to be a good sister. A good sister. So thank you.
All right. First of all, I'm sitting here with a little bit of survivor's guilt, okay? Anyone who has breast cancer, and are there some other breasties out there? If you're a breastie, let's see your hand. If you are a breastie, that's our fellow sister survivors who are part of a club no one wants to be in, but once you are, we got you. Okay. And the reason why I have survivor's guilt, okay, I am a showrunner, a event manager, a stage runner, and came October of 2021, and it was Pink Ribbon Month. And I'm like, now, October, Pink Ribbon, Black women, we need not breast cancer awareness, we need vigilance 24/7, not just once a year in October. So I reached out to a sister friend who is the head of Touch Black Breast Cancer Alliance, Ricky Fairley. I said, all right, I'm gonna let you get October out the way. And then in November, I want to do a podcast, a Facebook Live, an article, and all other stuff I put together, right? Through Unerased Black Women Speak. Let's do it. So we'll let you get through October, November. We did the podcast in November, December. We did the Facebook Live. We're on on the air, and I'm saying, okay, y'all need breast cancer vigilance. 3 calls to action. 1, get your annual mammogram. 2, if you have a family history, and sisters, I want you all to take heed to this. If you have a family history of breast cancer, don't let them tell you if you're 34, 35, you can't get a mammogram. You get a mammogram wherever you feel you need to. And third, trust your instincts, your voice as someone who has to be your own breast advocate. So after we did the show, and then I had to scratch my head. I'm like, when did I feel like a hypocrite up in here? When did I get my last mammogram? Now this was December of 2021. Well, I know I didn't get one in 2021. 2020, well, all bets were off for everything. I'm like, I called my doctor. She said, well, Gwen, your last mammogram was December 2018. Huh? I'm feeling like, all right, you better take your tail to the place, get that mammogram. I did. Then they called me back. They said, we want you to come back because we see some calcification. Oh, don't worry. Get another one, magnified. And I had breast cancer in January 6th, 2021. I was diagnosed. Here's the survivor guilt, sisters. Anyone who has breast cancer knows all breast cancers are not created equal. There are about a dozen different kinds. I ended up, first of all, I had no lump. I had no symptoms. It was stage 0. I didn't even know there was a thing. Stage 0? Oh, that's fine. I got this. So I didn't know that any kind of breast cancer ain't good no matter what stage it is. And you're looking at someone tomorrow, March 16th, will be the first anniversary of my 3rd surgery. Between February 2nd and March 16th, I had 3 surgeries because it was like a little ant farm moving around inside the ductal wall, and they said it was precancerous, but precancerous is cancer, right? They had to remove it. But the major thing I want to say, and this is something to Lisa, to Barbara, to my sister Cleola, look, peace be still, absolutely. But guess what? We have nothing to hide. We don't have to be ashamed. Used to be the C word was whispered. Hey, I got to the top of the Facebook or whatever. I had breast cancer. Guess what, sisters? How many of you in this room didn't get your annual mammogram? Get it. I will stop there because the last thing I want to say, I know our dear sisters looking at us. Listen, Black women are diagnosed later, die sooner, have the most virulent types and the most aggressive types of cancer, have it younger, and also have a 71% higher risk of death. That's us. So if we're not vigilant, we don't take care of ourselves, we are marked. So I end on an upbeat, an up note that we are warriors. And while, like you said, I mean, you had to go through the surgeries and struggle, but the bottom line, look, we're here. Look at these beautiful, we are here. And thank you, Mel, for making this a conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. I am State Representative Wanda Lincoln. I'm the National President of the National Organization of Black Elected Legislative Women, NOBEL. I have to say our names because my board sent me here and I want to be able to go back home. All politics is local. With that being said, I want you all to help me give it up. That's why Melanie raising her hand. She understands the assignment just like I do. Now listen, y'all, help me give it up for Melanie Beyonce Campbell up in here today. Isn't she lovely, y'all? Let's give it up for Melanie, y'all.
right, give it up for her.
But I am just sitting here listening, and my story is a little different, and I'm going to follow the assignment, and I'm going to be brief because I'm looking out in this room, and you all are talking about the breast cancer. My mother's breast cancer, 5 mastectomy. I've had 6 biopsies. But I'm looking out in this room because I want to talk about the big demon in the room. The demon that we oftentimes as Black folks, we try to escape it. We turn a deaf ear to it. We shrug our shoulders and walk away, and that's mental illness. Stress. I walked around here every day with red bottoms on, stilettos, looking fine, thought I was cute. Walking in the room like I commanded all of the attention, that I was the room, that I was the tablecloth, the chairs, the carpet, the window drapings, and everything. Until one morning, I got up. Sheila Tyson, Commissioner Sheila Tyson is in the room. She's from Alabama. Thank you, Sheila. She brought over 50 students from the state of Alabama. Let's give it up to her and all that she does. And I know Melody appreciates it, but you'll hear more from her. One day I'm driving. Actually, I was in court. I started getting sick. I said, what is going on with me? I'm a legislator. I'm a lawyer. I'm this. I'm doing all of these things. I'm handling everybody else's business. I'm taking on everybody's responsibility. The very next morning, but just so happened, let me just tell you this. I stopped. I remember the commercial. This commercial that said it was about no-dose aspirin. Y'all remember the commercial with the little man and some folks shaking their heads, and it talked about keeping these no-dose aspirin in your purse. The day before I actually got sick and had to be rushed to the hospital, I remembered that I had just purchased these no-dose aspirin. I took the top off, the aspirin. And the reason I'm going to tie all this in is going back to the mental health, the stress, walking around and handling everybody else's problems. I worked out every day. I'm a boss. I have it going on until I found myself. My body had aged to the point that it was the body of a 90-year-old woman. I was near death. I could not walk. I ended up in a rehabilitation center facility, having to learn how to walk again. I went months on a cane. I have witnesses here. Will you raise your hand? Sheila Tyson is sitting in the room. But thanks be unto the Lord, I sit here today on this stage a living testimony to what God can do. But most importantly, a testimony to that you have to pay attention to your body. Because my body was talking to me, but I kept stepping in my stilettos. My body was talking to me. I kept wanting to be the be-all, end-all in the room. My body was talking to me. I wanted to be the decision maker in the room. My body was talking to me. I was helping everybody else get elected. But guess what? Had I died that day, the first thing that would have happened would have been a proclamation or a resolution to replace my seat that I was so busy running around thinking I was all that and everything before. So I'm simply saying to you all today, listen to your body. That day, the same day that I had my situation occurred, that the TIA and everything that went on with me and my body shut down, the mayor of a local municipality that I had been on, who was a lawyer, who was probably one of the most well-established men in this country, in the South anyway, had almost the same and similar circumstances, except for he went into a full-blown stroke. He could not get the aspirin bottle open. It will not ever be the same anymore. So I'm simply saying to you, thanks be unto the Lord, that I listened to that commercial that day, that I bought those low-dose aspirin. And all I remember is when I finally came to, the doctor simply said, I don't know how many of those aspirin you ate this morning, or whenever it was, but those aspirin may have very well saved your life. But I'm saying this to you all to say, listen to your body. Your body already tells you that something's wrong. Because guess what? When you get to the doctor, every time you go to the doctor, and I'll close out, the doctor asks you the question, how are you feeling? What are your symptoms? So I'm saying this to take time for your mental health. You may be the problem solver, the game changer, the agent for change, but guess what? You better learn to love yourself because nobody will love you like you. And if you think you're the only person who can get it done, you think you're the best of the best, trust me, die, 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 and see what happens. Nobody will call your name in a day or two. Nobody will call your name. So I'm simply closing out with this. Take care of yourself. Treat your mind. And it's okay to go get help, Black folks. That's why they have doctors. That's why they have therapists. That's why, and I'm sorry, I know there's some preachers in here. I love my preacher. But the preacher can't help you solve every problem on earth. God gave these clinicians the power and the knowledge to help you. And as I close out, my doctor a few months ago said to me, every time I get ready to come to him, he opens my file, my records. And he's still trying to figure out how my body changed from a perfectly healthy woman to that of a 90-year-old. He's still trying to figure it out. You know what I say to him every time? Not only just the stress, the sister said the stress, but what I said to him, he said, he's trying to figure out now how I'm still alive. And I simply say to him, God, it wasn't meant for me that way. But God also gave me the wherewithal to go get me some help, to find me somebody to talk to. And the moral of the story is go get help. Take care of yourself, young people. Find help. You got suicidal thoughts? Go get help. We have a lot of young people in distress right now. Go get help. Find you somebody to talk to. Go get you some help. So I appreciate you all for listening to me. But listen to me. Talk to your sisters. And sisters, love each other. Stop hating on each other. Help a sister out. If it wasn't for Sheila Tyson one day, I wouldn't even been able to walk over the bridge. But she helped me walk into the room. She didn't talk about me walking in the room on a cane. She helped me walk in the room one day. So I appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
This is a perfect segue. Your story kind of is a precursor for part of my story. So I'm Dr. Rowe. Hello. My story is very different. I can talk about disease. I can talk about a lot of things, but what happened, but the battle that I am currently in right now has everything to do with grief and loss. And I'm the person that coaches people through their life struggles. I do this for women and families, and I have for over 30 years. But it was my turn. So Alabama, I just moved back from Alabama, by the way. I'm from DC, so I live in the DMV now, but I just moved from Alabama. And the reason I moved from Alabama is because I lost my husband 8 months ago. And 2 weeks before he died, I lost my mother-in-law, his mother. And I was responsible for her health care, and she was suffering from dementia. So we lost her to complications of dementia. And then we found out that he became sick. And he was a physician, one of the most brilliant and best and brightest that I've ever known. I married the love of my life. It was divine intervention. It was a God thing that we got together. And we would have done 22 beautiful years. Every day that I open my eyes and put my feet on the floor, I thank God for the 22 beautiful years that He gave us. But there's so there was a question, Dee. Where are you in your battle? Is it some days you might be on 1 or 10, 10 being amazing and 1 being you're in the doldrums? I can tell you that I can be in one day I could be on 10. Right? Because I'm getting my life back together. I've decided with God's help, I'm going to move it forward. That takes action steps from me. But on another day, I can be 1. Because I wake up in the morning and it dawns on me rather grabs me by the throat. And I have to realize and accept the fact that he's not coming back. And that it's all on me now. So we did everything together. He was my everything. But now I have the responsibility of moving my life forward. And what I want to say to you is that in the midst of grief, in the midst of loss, in the midst of suffering, in the midst of disease and even disease recovery, I don't want people calling me strong. Don't call me strong. Because I need to have the grace to be vulnerable enough to show you my weakness. We have to go through it, right? To get to whatever the end is that we desire. But this business of strong Black women and being a strong Black woman, we got to get over that. Because we've been historically strong for everyone but ourselves. Everyone. And it's time that we gave ourselves a break. So when I heard that this was going to be the discussion, we're going to reset, we're going to take a break, give ourselves a break. I want to give you some pointers on how to do that. But first, I just really need to reiterate the necessity for you to give yourself grace, for you to live your life with grace. Self-love is about a lot of things, and we start there. We start from the position of love. That means taking care of your body. That means the food that you put in your body and what you do with it. But we also need just some grace. God's grace really is sufficient. But we've got to take advantage of it, right? So let's talk about what are some of the things that you can do? I've been a nutritionist for over 30 years and a broadcaster for much of that time as well. One of the things that I want to tell you is that when you find yourself stressed, sometimes you don't even know you're stressed. Do you realize this? You could be under stress and you don't know it, right? We have things that we get attached to. We have sisters that might consider themselves drama queens, but the drama, and I see some smiling and laughing faces. We got some drama queens in the room, and that's okay. Because typically that drama is showing up as a result of something that might have happened to you. And so the drama becomes anger and it becomes a lot of things. But we just need to take a beat and reconnect with whatever it is that we went through so that we can fix it. So in the midst of all of that, the drama and other attachments, emotional attachments I'm talking about, in the midst of all of those things, stress becomes an issue. And stress can live in the cells of your body, right? It will live in the cells. And if you don't address it, I'm not talking about acute stress, episodic stress. I'm talking about the long-term stress that lives with you, that stays with you, keeps you up at night, right? So here's the thing. If you find yourself stressed, and you should pay attention to what your feelings are. Feelings ain't facts, but they are yours, and you're entitled to them. So what I need you to do is acknowledge them. I need you to acknowledge what you're feeling. It's only then that you can connect yourself to why and how you're feeling it and when you started to feel it. But whatever those feelings are, I need you to connect to the fact that you are having those feelings and you have a right to. But you also have the responsibility to do the work to get beyond them, right? So there's foods, if you're stressed, if you're going through something and you are concerned about not just chronic disease, because we all know that, food is connected to our weight. When I lost my husband, by the way, I lost 8 pounds in like 2 weeks. That's not supposed to happen for a person of my size and frame. But I had to get back on the horse. And what I have to do, and what I ask you to do, is to put healthy food in your body. What I mean by that is fruits and vegetables, colorful fruits and vegetables, because the pigments that give those fruits and vegetables their color go a long way to protect you from chronic disease, cancer, hypertension, heart disease, and a number of other chronic diseases. I need you to keep a healthy weight. And here's the number one thing I need you to do when it comes to food. Cut added sugar at all costs. Cut added sugar. Because it's not sweet. It's not sweet when it comes to what it does to your body. Sugar is literally a toxin to the body. Added sugar. I'm not talking about sugar in fruit. I'm talking about sugar in soda, sugar in cookies, sugar in, you know what they are. All those things that come in a bag or a box, that. So I need you to cut that to the greatest extent possible, because it's going to do a lot to help you to be calm. When we talk, it's going to do a lot for your state of mind. It's going to do a lot for your state of mind. I also need you to get sleep. Because we talk about being a bad, and we're getting no sleep. You see what I mean? So you need the sleep, because it's going to also protect you from some of those chronic diseases that we talked about. And you need it for your sense of calm. You need it for your sense of well-being. I'm talking about wellness on a large scale. But these are just small things that you can do to help yourself, whether or not you're stressed, whether or not you're dealing with mental health challenges. Because the way I'm telling you to eat is also going to help you to avoid the complications that come with mental health challenges. You feel me? Are you with me? Okay. All right. So I need you to get sleep. I need you to get, now it's 7 to 10 hours a night. Yeah. It's now 7 to 10 hours a night. Because of the things that insomnia causes, the havoc it wreaks on you and your body. So I need you to get consistent sleep, because that's also going to give your body a chance to rest, right? And whatever you're going through, this whole business somebody said it's the sisters, and this is the first time that I'd ever even heard this term. By the way, this is my first year. This is my first conference. Melanie, I will be back. I will absolutely be back. Yes, because this room, y'all set this room on fire. And this is the room that I wish to be in at all times. At all times. So get the sleep. Eat well, meaning put colorful vegetables and fruit in your diet. Drink water, please. Half your body's weight in ounces of water. If you weigh 100 pounds, that means 50 ounces of water a day, right? So, and do get still. Yes, but by all means, get still. Get quiet, so that you can hear God's voice speaking to you and through you, right? Get quiet. Acknowledge your feelings. Express your feelings. Don't be all drama-filled with it, though. But no, acknowledge your feelings and express those feelings. Don't hold them in. Don't suppress what you're feeling, because that will kill you, literally. I'm going to end here.
That's good.
Because I could go.
That's an excellent place. Did she not serve us? Did she not put a bow on this? There is nothing else to be said.
They all shared about resetting and about the battle that so many of us are going through, and to have Dr. Rowe put a bow on it, sharing her battle, but then closing it with, what do we need to do for us, is a perfect place to end. So Melanie Campbell is going to come up to the stage. We are complete for this round. Did you not appreciate the inside the battle, how it is that you resonate with the stories, and all of the ways that this panel served the room by giving you one thing? Say one thing. Were you able to get at least one thing from the leaders here on what do you need if you're ever in the battle, if you're coming out of the battle, if the battle is called cancer, if the battle is grief, if the battle is mental wellness? Were you not served by this panel, this expert panel? Give them a round of applause. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. We're going to get some music and Melanie is going to come. That was so good. All right, did y'all write that down? Did anybody want to get a photo? So if you could come to the center of the stage. Did you all write down the notes? Can we get a panel or a photo? Did you get, and then we're going to have the sponsors come up. But here were the takeaways. Call your sisters when you're going through the battle. Call your sisters. Pay attention to your body. What else? Take care of your mental health. What else did you get? Resist strong. How many strong women? No. That is no place for. We are not, no. What else? Locate yourself. Stop eating that sugar. Eat healthy. Sleep how many hours? How many hours are y'all getting a rest? And what are y'all buying? I'm getting that no-dose. I don't know what drug she was talking about, but how many of you are like, well, what exactly is that? How many y'all buying that? All right. Here's the, yep, hold on. And Sheena. Are we able to get Lisa back up? Are we able to? How do we do this? Tanya? We want to create space for Lisa.
I'm right here.
We're going to get Lisa.
Can we get first our moderator of the hour, our hostess of the mostest, D. Marshall? Can we give our sponsors, our leaders, our sisters, all of y'all? You know how you have an idea and you're like, okay, is this really gonna work? And thank y'all for just taking this. I learned so much. But I must have Dr. Rose. She was on, I just told her to her face. She just on my street. I'm like, girl, get off my street. Huh? So what I like for all of the conveners, Black Youth Vote coordinators to come up. We're gonna get one big shot. Come on up, Michelle. Come on up, Angela. We're gonna get one group shot. All of the state conveners, Black Women's Roundtable conveners, Black Youth Vote coordinators. Come on up. How y'all doing? Keep the music going, DJ. Yes, you were giving that music when I came up here. Thank you. Come on. Stand up, y'all. Stand up. We're gonna take a photo once we get everybody up here. So you all step up. And then Camilas, we gotta go 2 rows. Yeah, we gotta get 2 rows. Now don't push me over. Y'all step up. Y'all step up. Nikki, y'all step up. Step up. And then get everybody get. Okay, we need 2 rows. It's not 3. 2 rows. 2 rows. You and my man. You and your friends. Sponsors. Okay. Okay. I got red boards. How we looking? How y'all doing? Okay, we need some sister power music. Give us some sister. Come on, Jocelyn. Come on. Y'all come on up. Come on up. All the teams, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. DJ, please come on up. That was me, okay. Yeah, you see? It's Bobby in here. All right. Let's know what I'm talking about. No, I'll be good. I'll be good about it. My baby, every reason why I love you. I can go on and make you do. I can't even take my mind off loving you. And I want to say, one last shot. Emotion, yo, come on, y'all. Come on, let's okay. Ladies, y'all ready? Hold. Sheila, are you ready? Are you serious?
Know if the time is right, I don't wanna fuss and fight. I just wanna let you know I'm feeling good tonight. I want you to take my hand and promise you'll be good. Cause I know you like the way that I move. Oh, boy, you bring me joy.
All right. Thank you all. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Oh, boy, you got it going on. You make me happy. So very happy. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, when I think of you, I'm thinking of myself.